mix and match your florals in your decor, but what about real flowers or faux flowers? You want to make an arrangement.
Yes.
There's certain things you need to look out for, and you've always had an eye for this, Tamara, but you're going to teach us some tips that might help us out.
Easy tips. Now, we started off thinking about this segment, can we make a more formal arrangement and a more casual arrangement? And the thing is, the rules as in decor are kind of broken. Right. There are no rules anymore because it's almost like what's your style and what feels natural in your house. So if you decorate in a certain way, then you don't want something super formal. And still, I'm going to give you 3 factors that are going to affect how your floral arrangement looks.
Okay.
One is the type of flower you choose.
Yes.
So we've got a variety to choose from here.
Yeah.
You know, anything from peonies to alstroemeria. One is the vessel, and that's also going to have a big impact. So we've got pitchers and different types of vessels here.
Yeah.
And then the third thing is how you put it together.
Right. These 3 things are going to make a difference in how your arrangement is going to look.
Yes.
These you sort of divided them into maybe a more traditional arrangement versus a more like using wild flowers.
You know what? And this is, we'll get to this in a minute, but this wild and loose arrangement is hot right now.
Yeah.
All over Instagram.
Right.
So, you know, but there's a reason. Let's try and build something that's, you know, deemed a little bit more formal.
Okay.
Because peony is a beautiful flower. So why don't you pick to me
I like
what
calla
you like.
lilies.
Okay.
These were all over my wedding. They cost
like
way too much. But yeah,
now
I love them.
We might even have time to do a couple things quickly. Okay, I'm just going to pour a little bit of the water in there. So the callas, you know, elegant, clean, and minimal, right?
Yes.
So that's structured, and I'm going to keep them all together. I'm just going to chop these and lean them in the vase.
And what do you do when you're chopping? Do you do a rough measurement of how tall?
I kind of vaguely did.
Yeah.
You can always err on the side. So that's
all I want.
That's all I want.
Yeah, that's
right?
all I want. That's beautiful.
And you can always go back and cut off a little bit more.
Yeah.
The thing to be careful about is not taking them too short in your first chop.
Got it.
But it is still a mistake that people make, is to not cut their flowers short enough. But you can always go back and do another little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just leaning them.
Yeah,
clean,
that's it. That is
elegant,
beautiful.
modern, and feel sophisticated, and also because the shape of the vase, right?
Okay, do you want to do another traditional one?
Yeah, give me.
Okay, so
I'll
do the peonies.
Just hand them to me.
Okay.
And I'm going to take off the leaves that are going to be under the water. So peonies again. Why don't you give me more?
Okay.
Because this is bigger. You can even mix in that hydrangea if you want.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so peonies and hydrangea. One thing is, like a lot of foliage, there's only a few kinds of foliage I would say that feel, you know, more elegant and formal. A lot of foliage can tend to be looser.
Yeah.
And historically, like, expensive arrangements don't have as much greenery mixed in.
Right.
So this is going to be low and round. You can give me more of that green hydrangea. You want more hydrangea? Just to fill it out.
When you're removing the green, are you removing it all the way to the top usually, or do you just do the bottom?
Usually I'll leave some leaves that are going to frame the blooms, but the rest of it would just be hidden and get bacteria growth going in the water.
Okay, so you don't need that.
I'm taking off most of the greenery. Now the benefit to this is gorgeous. It's not the hot trend right now in floral design.
Right.
Benefit to this is the functionality, okay? And then we'll quickly move on. If you're having a dinner party, this is not gonna block people from seeing each other.
That's true.
And we're gonna use, can you cut me a little piece of this green tape?
Because one of the great tricks is that you have to get all of those stems together so that they stay together in the vessel, and it looks so professional when you do that.
I'm going to cut it shorter again. Okay. And then why don't you tell me, so we've got a bunch of vases here, all under $25.
You want to know what to put that one in?
No, I'm going to put this in here.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
You tell me what flowers you like for our loose, wild, and free arrangement.
Do you want to take? I don't think I gave you enough.
It's okay.
Is it enough?
It is.
Okay, good.
Just a little piece of tape. That's going to be the secret.
Okay, lovely.
Beautiful, low, traditional centerpiece that you could have. And we've got a big mess.
That is just gorgeous. Okay, so this is how I usually do it because it's easy. And when the flowers have a big bloom, they take up a lot of space, so you don't need a ton of flowers in it.
Okay.
I would be more confused by this in real life because it's more loose and unstructured.
But you know what? I'm just going to grab things to make this easy for us.
Okay.
Remember,
I was supposed to pick.
Well, you just tell me what you want then. I don't want to run out of time.
I want some yellow flowers in there.
Okay, so we're going to do the mums.
Okay.
And what happens here is there's a lot of flowers that actually get a bad name, and people think of them as filler flowers. Filler flowers are having a moment. Could be carnations, but also, you know, all these little weeds and things that we kind of deem as unsophisticated.
Yeah,
well, they're having a moment because it's wild and free and unhinged.
Yeah.
Right?
It's all about accessibility, I find, when it comes to everything. When it comes to wine, when it comes to florals, when it comes to decor. It's about accessibility.
It's very millennial.
Yes. Everyone just jump in and do what feels right to you, and that's nice. We're throwing the rule book out.
Throw the rule book out, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. And then, again, you get into these vessels. It's like recycled glass, a pitcher, something that you don't think of as a crystal vase, a mason jar, exactly. So it doesn't even have to be, and then you're not keeping it as structured. You can let it be more loose.
Right. One thing I noticed that you've done here is you've concentrated a lot of the color in the middle.
It's not a rule, and you can even, like, I'm doing this in my hand, but you can even use some of this, you know, to break up the color.
Right.
And then, you know what, we're not going to tie this off purposefully.
Okay.
And did I say I brought the vases from HomeSense, so they're a great steal.
Yeah.
These are all fresh flowers, and this is a really inexpensive arrangement to put together, giftable. And then if you, like if you're going for a host for a dinner, you know, you're giving someone they can use afterwards if you're using a pitcher.
You know what's really nice? If you are doing this for a host party, you make the arrangement, put it in the vessel, and bring it that way.
Yes.
So
oh my
that way
God,
she's not moving away from to put it in a vase.
That's right.
It's always nice to get flowers, but you do have to take that time to put them in somewhere. That is so pretty.
So let it be loose.
Yeah, very nice. It's loose, it's wild and uninhibited.
That's right.
And I'm sort of half this, half that in real life.
Yeah, it depends. And the thing is, you know, you wouldn't want something too tall and crazy and big to block your sight lines at a meal, but you can move it over off the dining table.
So look at this, beautiful arrangements. So try it at home. And
try it.
Anything you choose is going to brighten up your space, and that's the beautiful thing about florals.